Welcome back to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is Laura. I'm going to do a general message for Sagittarius. Know that energy is fluid, so again, interpret the message as it best resonates. I always feel like I have to say that, even though I know that you guys pretty much know that, because energy works like a magnet. It goes to who and what needs to hear the message. That's how spiritual energy works. That's why when you have shadows and spiritual blocks, a lot of times you continue to relive the same karmic experiences within your situations, within your relationship experiences, work situations. We can have blocks in every area of our life. We can have blocks in just only one area of our life. Needless to say, we will always attract the same type of energy. There's only two energies, love and fear. So on this channel, I like to go deep. I like to look at the shadows, the spiritual blocks, and see how they play out as karmic themes. I do look at everything else, but the reading is a little bit longer because I like to look at every element. Now, if you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, you have to be ready to get a shadow reading. You need to like the video, subscribe to the channel. And yes, all readings are done live. Because I believe in spiritual law. Again, what's best for everyone involved. That's universal law. Okay, the word that's coming out is timelessness. Timelessness. So you know already what I'm going to say. Again, if you're new to my channel, the card of the day is not just going to be the card of the video. It's the card of the underlining reading. What is moving the underlining energy of your reading? Like, what is moving your person? What is moving you? What is the soul and the heart of the reading? And the soul and the heart of the reading is timelessness, which means it's a soulmate type of relationship. Timelessness means it never goes out. It's always in fashion. And I feel like you have a connection with someone that has transcended time and space many, many, many lifetimes. And though that's positive, it's also negative in the fact that it's a more challenging type of relationship. Because if you keep having the same type of soulmate that comes into your life to replay the same type of karmic themes and you haven't learned them in past life, well, it's not going to be any easier in this life. And there's a sense when somebody has been a past life karmic mate for many, many lifetimes, the passion, the depth of the connection is deep because it's a soul connection, it's a divine connection, meaning your spiritual blocks and this person's spiritual blocks can mirror, and your behaviorisms can trigger this person and vice versa. So mastering emotional intelligence is one thing that you'll need to do when you navigate a relationship like this, meaning you're going to really need to understand like why you're being blocked, because they will continue to happen. And what happens with these relationships is that it's a divine love, full of passion, full of excitement. However, it's one that over time, if it doesn't get healed, becomes so toxic and becomes a trauma bond. And a trauma bond becomes like a karmic contract where you're stuck in a commitment with someone to really learn. And the unfortunate part is that that relationship started out as a really like divine love. It was good, it was pure, it was happy, but it started off imbalanced, meaning usually everyone comes into the relationship, everyone actually does come into the relationship with their wounds. And so what this is saying is it's again ancestral karma, family karma, society karma. We inherit behaviorisms and habits that you have carried down into this lifetime, and you're also meeting a soulmate. So if you have someone that you're like, I like just get weak around this person, but they they trigger me, they make me mad, they make me like so mad, and then it's like they don't care, and the way that they respond to me is not the way that I need them to respond, and the way that they, but I can't help but to love this person. And it's again, those relationships make you crazy. So this is the underlining energy of your reading, which obviously it must be like a soulmate twin flame relationship, because again, those relationships always have an opportunity to transmute the spiritual wounds through passion, not just through passion for each other, but doing things together, projects. We're going to start off by looking at your person's hidden truths. What do they really truly feel? Are you together with this person, or are you separate from this person right now? Um, do they think that the relationship's too hard? I mean, let's see. I'm starting to understand our connection. So they, again, feel like it's a spiritual connection, because I feel like they've tried to walk away from you. And the triggers are hard because when we haven't learned from a spiritual lesson, it's almost as if, from a physical perspective, if you had to imagine what that looked like, it would be walking past your coffee table and stubbing your toe on the same corner of that coffee table every 10 minutes until your toe became so raw and it hurt to the point that you would hate coffee tables. You would just, you would become again like that type of energy, a spiritual trigger that is old. Again, the spiritual wound that is old, the trigger is a lot. So again, this person feels like you make them crazy. Like that, so you might be like, well, they make me crazy. And spirit says there will be a lot of mirroring in the relationship. It's normal, because no one wants to deal with a relationship like that unless there's a lot of passion. It's like they can't help it. You can't help it. It brings you both to a place of surrender. Just being near you is intoxicating. So again, this person is like, it's like your air to them, and vice versa. Even though you both might not admit that to each other. Like your whole mood changes. You can feel like when you're in love with someone that it's, again, even if you're mad at them, you get, I hope I run into them. And if I do, I might just say something, but I probably won't, because I'll become somebody else, because love always makes us do that. We can have it planned out in our head. I wish I could share my good news with you. So you are in separation from this person, and only one more from this death. I feel like they're making changes, or if they are with you, they're not able to really share everything. But I'm kind of feeling like this person and you are in separation, because they're looking at the relationship, and most people don't look at the relationship when they're in the relationship, and that's the problem. They tend to have to disconnect, and we always know with the twin flame and soulmate. And ironically, I have like my phoenix here in the back, right, rising from the ashes. That that's similar, like when we connect with our, twin flame person, it is fire and ice. It is two different energies, two totally different energies. That's why it's like, oh, they're your other half of your soul. They're not the other half of your soul. It's that you have that type of energy. Your person has their energy, because where the blocks are, what the gifts are, and the two together make it seem like they're one person. And that can become very codependent if there isn't a project, if there isn't something to do. So I feel like your person part of it, I'm saying I understand our connection, but they're going to not look at it from a spiritual perspective. They're going to look at it from more of a, you're supposed to come into my life because you and I are going to create something. And I feel for many of you Sagittarians, you're not business savvy. You're creative. You're intuitive. You have ideas. But it's again, as far as actually grounding them to make money, those are where your wounds are. Where this person's the wounds are, again, being emotional, opened, intimacy, trust, but intimacy because of betrayal at a very young age. But one more, it was my fault, but I blamed you. They got triggered. I feel like, again, it was a runner chaser type of situation, or like all soulmate twin flame relationships are, because the love is deep. And I feel like your person, they would, breadcrumb and then like make things extra difficult. They didn't need to be that difficult. It would be like, okay, we have plans at 2 o'clock tomorrow. And it would be like, well, if I don't have X, Y, Z. And it was almost like you felt like they were always looking for a way to dip out, like not really fully invest, which made you feel not safe. So again, and then when you would say something, they would act like you were crazy. They would act like you were being too demanding. They were acting like you were being controlling. But really, that's not what was happening. And see, a weak person would have stayed and given this person the time and the energy and the effort, even though they weren't giving anything and they knew. And when you walked away, you showed this person who you were. Then they really looked at you. They weren't looking at you like you were anybody before. Not that they didn't have a spiritual connection, but they didn't, again, this person's, that's not where their strengths are. And fire and ice. This person's all fire. It's again, which is like, they are passionate, they are very emotional, and when they're in, they're really in. But it's again, they've been hurt, so they were more in your energy. If your energy is ice, you're intuitive, you're air, you're creative. But there needs to be a balance. When we have too many wounds in a certain area, again, for you, grounded, not being in the physical body, not being in the here and now as much, utilizing the physical elements, the physical world, where you're intuitive, you're creative, you have ideas, you are passionate. It's not like you don't have a big heart. You're more, again, detail oriented. Someone that has ideas, it's again, they have an imagination, there's air. There's, again, and we need to have these elements, all of these elements within us. But when we have wounds, what happens is we don't. And that's why this person is in your life, is what looks like, because unconditional love makes us change. Makes us change. I'm going to look at some spiritual cards just because that's the energy that's coming through. So it's more of a spiritual reading. And I've been getting a lot of those lately. Our inner our inner guidance is clear, but our ego is resisting it. Okay, so there's still, like, again, a little bit of ego. And I think both of you are in actuality. And the reason why is because when there's so much passion in a connection, And there is this unconditional love. It's like, why are you acting like an asshole? Like, that's the energy that comes to a meeting. Like, why aren't you giving me what I need? You know what I need, and it's so little, and emotionally, you just won't give it to me. And this person's like, well, you know what I want, and you're not giving it to me. And there's a sense of a little bit of a power control because, again, no one wants to be vulnerable, and no one has been vulnerable, especially if this person didn't have a conversation and they played games like, it was you're my fault, but I'm gonna blame you. Like you're a crazy person. But here it is, we still have feelings for each other. So it's like you have to act like be like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I put up with in order to be with you. And you're again too much um, mental and logic like no. Like it's just no. And and that's the energy there. And so this person's like, I'm used to getting what I want, but broken. I want to hold you in my arms and feel our bodies unite us as one. So again, there's still like a lot of passion there. It's like I said, even that's why I'm saying there's still like going to be that. So somebody has to be more compassionate. Somebody has to be more open in being able to communicate. And I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be your person. They don't because they don't know how to do that. Their language is passion. That's their language, their fire. Our inner child need to come first, meaning like to heal. So like inner child is when we have inner child wounds, and those wounds um, make us form these behaviorisms. So what'll happen is because right now there is so much passion, and but again, there are spiritual blocks and there is ego. And unless that's cleared, and so unless you know what those inner child wounds are, you really can't transmute that energy. So let's see what comes out. Okay, those two just popped out. So we'll see. Okay, discipline. I feel like that's you. And rebellion. And so there's a sense of now again, you can take this as as it resonates, but I feel as if you're not disciplined enough. And so there is this creative side and this element of liking to go out and maybe protest like the things that you believe in and have a voice and really be like this energy that's rebellious, but you're not disciplined enough where you're structured. And so and that happened due to your childhood. So what happens is in your childhood, if you don't get the support, what'll happen is you don't discipline yourself. You don't get the discipline. So you don't really know what it is. You're forced to figure it out on your own. And so kids don't know how to do that. That's why structured homes are important. That's why having two parents is important because it's a lot for one parent. It's not that you can't do it, but no one wants to spend 24 hours a day with their child. They don't. It's like it doesn't mean that they don't love their child, but they will need a break. They need a break from everything. So again, discipline means structure. And so that there's a lack of structure on your part because growing up in your home, there was a lack of structure and you took those habits into life and they've held you back. And so what happens then is you get annoyed and then you do things your way, and that could be seen as rebellious. It could be seen almost as over the top. It could be perceived as wrong because there's not enough structure. And so also it leads to more bad behaviorism, sabotaging behaviorisms, because once there's no support, then everything is built on support. So everything comes crumbling down. There's cracks in the foundation, there's cracks that the house won't stand eventually. So Spirit's saying, you're getting this person because they're going to help you. Again, the fire is that that energy that will help you transmute that, because it helps you get a better connection to the physical body when you have a connection with someone that has this type of energy. But they don't think the way that you think. So you're going to trigger each other. Okay, confusion. Confusion. I feel like your person grew up in an environment where they were taught that love hurt, that love was hard, that love was hard because they witnessed their parent have a bad relationship. And so in return, that parent couldn't give them what they needed. They came across very judgmental, making that person feel like there was something wrong with them. So that shut down their third eye, which is your strength. So they don't get ideas. They don't tap into their intuition. They don't utilize that air element at all. They're afraid to really tap into the higher. So they might not speak their truth. And then they also would have rebellious behavior because they're not going to show that they feel dysfunctional about themselves. They'd come across maybe as a player, as someone again that doesn't get deep, doesn't have real authentic relationships because they're afraid. But again, twin flame relationship, but there's no deeper. So it's like, hello, you're going there. You may think you're not ready, but spirit thinks that you are, and that's why they ran in the beginning, and that's why this connection now is kind of coming full circle, and that's what's fucked up, because this person's like, I just like ran away and tried to escape from this person from this person only to like wind up back here. Like I always wind up back here. And it's like, and it's because I can't help it. I'm a crazy person. And again, protection. So that's also, believe it or not, a grounding thing. But I feel like your person didn't feel safe. They didn't feel safe. They didn't get the support. So if it's a guy that doesn't feel safe, they will overcompensate in, again, trying to they will overcompensate in trying to create a lot of safety where they overwork. They put too much emphasis on money, on things that they perceive are going to protect them. So again, making money is a good thing, but then again, this person is not going to be as emotional because there's a lot of confusion around it. But again, and they feel that what's important is, money and building structures and not really the emotional connection. And that's why I'm saying it's two totally different energies. We can see why one's fire, and we can see why one's ice, and why the two different people are brought together and what they'll do for each other. But how can a person, need to ask, how can we form balance in a relationship of two totally polar opposite people here? I mean, that are going to trigger each other. How can we not create intimacy problems? Because intimacy problems don't come from a person cheating at first. It happens from people that don't show up emotionally. It happens when we get triggered, like when it happens when we get triggered, when we feel like there's something wrong with us. If this person emotionally isn't going to give us, then we feel like there's something wrong with us. So for those, what does spirit say that we should do? What is the energy that we can bring in to help balance out this energy, I should say? I'm looking around for another deck to see if I want to pull from another deck. And then spirit says, be in the now. Be in the now, just focus. Okay. But I'm like, maybe I'll take back that deck. And spirit says, me again, only in the now do I give you divine guidance. I say, oh, okay, I gotta train that ADHD, positive action, positive action. I focus on the beauty in me and I find silence. I live and honor the present by doing what I can do now, what I cannot change. I let go of and entrust to God. So again, I would say that this is, you focus on the beauty in yourself. So again, that you are a spiritual being first and foremost. And the person that is coming into your life is a spiritual being too. And that is a divine connection, and that you only are in the present moment, meaning in the present by doing what you do now. So you can't come from past, what this person did in the past, how they did act, why we can't focus on that, and we have to be able to let go, because remember, it's not so much that a person does something that triggers us if we can learn how to communicate about it properly. But we also have to be able to let go of the anger. A lot of times we hold on to that. And this is really saying, like, I honor the present, like it's again, and by doing what I can do now, what I cannot change, I let go of. And so it's to honor yourself and focus on yourself to find balance. That's the positive action when you feed yourself. It doesn't mean feed the relationship. It means do what you need to do to create the things that are going to make you feel whole within yourself. Again, the beauty in myself is that what is it? You use your gifts. Your gifts come from within, your talents, the things that mean something to you, everything like that comes from within. Those are spiritual elements. Those are beautiful. You utilize those, you focus on those, and you don't focus on the relationship. It's again that you already want the relationship, because otherwise you're going to judge the way the person acts, why they did things the way that they did. And if you're focused on the relationship, you're depleting yourself. In actuality, when you feed yourself, then things happen. Then the universe conspires to bring you more energy like that. You fill yourself up with unconditional love, which again, this person represents that. They're going to make you into the best version of yourself by helping you transmute those spiritual blocks. That's why they're coming into your life. It's again, so Spirit's saying it's like it's all about you. It's all about you. It's not about that person. That person's helping you, but by making you aware of the trigger, that's it. That's it. So being able to communicate is really important. And that could be challenging for you. Be challenging for the other person. So but becoming your best version of yourself, you have to be able to ask for what you need in life. You need to be able to set appropriate boundaries. And so you teach a person how you would like to be treated, not people who aren't mind readers. So again, which I feel like your person tends to believe. So because they have blocks in the higher chakras, as I said. So it's going to, you're going to need to teach this person. And that's not done by beating the person up. It's with unconditional love. and release. I stop fighting my fears and the hardships of life. I control my thoughts, live in the present moment, and accept each stage of life. I work on what I have power over and put into God's hands what I can. I trust that everything will work out for the best. So it's about, again, releasing and letting go of, past perceptions of what a relationship should look like, what you should look like, what release all negative perceptions about self, about love, about what you can have for yourself. Again, and we release by looking at our shadows, but we wouldn't know what those shadows were. We wouldn't know what those spiritual blocks are unless someone triggered us. And it's to give it an opportunity, but take it not from all those times that we stub our toe on the table, but from the present moment. Talk about it. And through unconditional love, you will learn to be able to speak in a way that you don't offend, but in a way that is also like taking care of yourself, that you have the courage to do that, that you don't are with your partner because they are making your life fulfilled. You already are fulfilled, but they add that element. They make you stand to that level. They make you step into who you truly are. And that's what this story was all about. So I'm going to leave that there, Sagittarius. And if you like this message, give me a like, a comment, and don't forget to write the word in your comment bar. I don't even remember. Oh, yeah, timelessness. How could I forget? Timelessness. That's twin flame relationship. I should have. All right. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.